Hey y'all, hey, it is Galanda V, and today we are talking about mindfulness, growth, and changing your mind. Yes, mindfulness can coincide with changing your mind as well. If you are new here, my name is Galanda V, and I am an emotional awareness coach dedicated to helping you understand and connect with your emotions through mindfulness, enabling you to experience greater joy and peace in your life. Okay. So I had some personal experiences this past week, as well as I observed some things this past week that said, you know what? I need to cut some things out. I need to switch some things up. I felt like I was getting super busy and starting to be roped into doing some things that I really didn't want to do. So I had to take some moments and reflect and think about this. And I said, you know what? This is a great topic to talk about with you guys because oftentimes we think of mindfulness, we think about being present and in the moment, and that doesn't seem quite synonymous with changing one's mind. So, given that, I said, nope, we're going to do this. So I have notes, of course, because I don't like to leave anything out when I share with you guys. All right. So one of the things that mindfulness is good for is helping you to bring clarity, right? And that clarity could lead to you changing your mind, right? So let's start off, right? Again, what does it mean to be mindful? Mindfulness is paying attention on purpose in the moment without judgment. It is being present and aware of what's going on at the time that it is going on, right? Being present allows you or gives you the space to show or to see additional layers of what might be going on, right? So for myself, in one particular situation, I'm being present, I'm paying attention, and I can feel something shifting, right? So, one of the things mindfulness can help you with is to notice emotional shifts. Now, I did not judge it. I did not try to change it in the moment. I just noticed it, right? Another thing that mindfulness could help you with is recognizing when you need to create new boundaries, right? It may have felt good in the moment, but then later on reflection, you might be like, maybe not so much, right? In my particular case, mindfulness, being present in the moment, helped me to understand that I had some misaligned commitments. I had made some choices that were not in alignment with how I wanted to move and what I wanted to do. Okay? So, why is it okay then to make a shift? Once you have recognized these things, once your awareness has provided you this additional insight, why is it okay to change your mind, right? I would like to offer to you that changing your mind is not a failure. Okay? Change is not a failure. Change is a sign of growth and a recognition of a misalignment that you must correct. Okay? If you are not changing, that means you are stagnant. If you are stagnant, that means you are not evolving. So change is not a failure, but an opportunity for evolution and appropriate alignment for oneself. Okay? If you didn't know, you are allowed to cancel your plans. You're allowed to do that, right? Some people will have you thinking that once you make a commitment that you can't change. No, sir. No, ma'am. No, no, no. If you find through your mindful awareness that there is a misalignment or you just have a change of mind, you can cancel plans, right? You can adjust your commitments and you can apologize or course correct. Because sometimes we may not have been mindful in the moment, or maybe we were, and still need to course correct something, right? Mindfulness is the way that you continue to check in with yourself. Okay? It's the constant process of being flexible and not rigid, right? And to be, in my opinion, a successful human in this world, you need to be flexible. And mindfulness can support you with that, right? Even with this decision to change your mind, shift, course correct, you must give yourself grace, right? People beat themselves up all the time for changing your mind. I witnessed a friend of mine who was very critical of themselves because they needed to change something that they had committed to. You have to give yourself grace. Change is evolution. And sometimes it is necessary to change the commitments that you have made for your best self. Okay. So now that you know that you can cancel your plans, you have that right, that you can adjust your commitments, and that you can course correct, you say, okay, Galunda, how do I do this, right? People, give me a really hard time when I try to do this. Y'all know what my favorite thing is? Pause. Take a breath. Right? The pause gives you space to see opportunities to respond rather than react. That's always the answer. Anything y'all come to me with, that's outside of a life or death situation, I'm going to say pause. I'm going to say breathe first, right? You want to respond from a place of clarity, not pressure. So when you pause, when you take that breath, you're giving yourself the space so the pressure is lessened. And that space also provides you a wider perspective so that you can have a clearer mind. Okay? The second thing is acknowledge that something changed. It's okay to do that, right? It's okay to say, yeah, I know I volunteered to do this work before, but it doesn't feel good to me right now, or it doesn't fit in with the other priorities I have in my life, or simply it doesn't work for me anymore. Okay? You have the right to not only acknowledge the shift, but also let the person know that the circumstances have changed for you. Okay? Thirdly, stay grounded in compassion. And the compassion is for yourself first and for others, right? First, don't beat yourself up because you had to shift or change. And two, understand that you changing your mind may have some impact on the other person or persons, right? So come with an attitude of compassion and grace that your change may then affect them in some way, right? And then my favorite, keep it simple yet honest. You are not obligated to give an extensive explanation for why you have changed your mind to everyone. You can simply state that the change has occurred and this is how things must go moving forward. You don't have to over explain. It goes with the conversation of no is a full sentence, right? In this case, we're not using no as a full sentence because we've already committed to something or said we would do something. You can just simply say circumstances have changed. I'm no longer able to do this, or I'm no longer choosing to do this, and this is what I can do to transition that situation. Okay? You don't have to give in-depth reasons to people. I don't care how they press you. You can simply say, that's not what I'm going to do any longer. And that's it. Okay? So keep it simple and honest, right? Now, because of your mindful awareness, it can help give you the space for the clarity, which could result in a change in mind of whatever that it is that you're going to do, right? I implore you, give yourself grace, give yourself room for this change, right? Even myself, the situation that I observed with my own self, where I'm, yeah, sure, I'm going to do that. And then later I was like, I'm not going to do that. No. And interesting enough, once I sat back in my reflection, because in that moment I was mindful and I felt the shift and I observed it, but I didn't do anything about it at that time, to be present with the person and give myself room to respond as opposed to react, right? I observed that others around me were also making shifts in their commitments, also making changes in what they had previously elected to do. So it's not just me, right? It's the people in my environment as well. And we have to give each other grace and space for this flexibility that we need to move in this human space, right? So have you ever had a moment where you were mindfully reflecting, or even in the moment felt the shift and said, hey, I'm going to have to do something different than what I initially thought I was going to do? Let me know. Let me know down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Because oftentimes we think that mindfulness, because it is present focus, in the moment focus, non-judgment focus, that means that there isn't room for flexibility, and it's exactly the opposite. Mindfulness is the opportunity for flexibility and change. All right, y'all. Until next time. Bye-bye.